As I talked with so many women and heard the stories of...
You might hear another story.
Kind of put myself out there more.
You can never be too humble or too grateful.
And then to become an agent of change. And I think that's something that we've
They
seen.
sought to free their mothers, their daughters.
What they're getting isn't a form of charity. It's an opportunity to work hard.
There's a whole sense of building a community.
Bring us back, Janet, to 1976 and what it all meant back then to be a woman in military ministry.
Where the law had changed the idea that women could be in the military, this was still something that was very much a new idea to the men who were in the military. And I've often used the metaphor that I felt like we had that honor of being part of a birth of a new idea, and that it maybe was unrealistic to think that there wouldn't be some labor pains with it. And where women were being integrated into other branches, I think people realized, well, this is my opinion that you should be here or you shouldn't be here, and then somebody else realized it was just their opposing a human opinion. It took on a very different edge in the chaplaincy because for many people, what we would hear from male chaplains was, God told me you shouldn't be here. So it was a bit different feel of that. We were coming out of a big meeting, and a young man came up to me, and he looked at, we were in a very dress uniform, and so you were wearing all of your awards, and he didn't know my story. He didn't know what amazing things had happened at my first 2 assignments and how I had been involved at some very high-ranking levels to institute installation-wide programs or something new in the military. And he could not understand why he was seeing such high-ranking awards on my jacket. And he came up to me, and I think it was just more an emotional reaction on his part. He looked at me, and he said, "You can't have possibly deserved those awards," and he spit on me. Now, I don't know, I'm always shocked at how many people, when you say how many people in the room have been spit on you, and you have a whole bunch of people raise their hand. But I've always said the first time is the hardest. For me, it was probably, the way I describe it is it's a very disgusting feeling to have somebody spit on you physically. And my reaction to it was a lot like a gas grill lighting up. And it was just, it was just so disgusting. And I was very concerned what I might do. And we didn't even know each other's names hardly, other than we had a name tag on. And so I really had to turn to God so quickly. And a thought from the Christian Science textbook came to me. Mary Baker Eddy stated, if you do not handle evil in the very first instance, it will handle you in the second. But the way I heard it, because of the urgency of what I was feeling, was, if you don't handle this in the first instant, I knew I needed to get my heart and my head in control. And so I just turned to God with all my heart. And the thought that came to me was, the soldiers spit on Jesus. And pretty much at that, it pretty much quenched that sense of inflammation that I was feeling. The second thought that came to me was, when you said you wanted to follow me, did you think I meant only in the easy footsteps? Which was, any of these experiences will humble you. I love Mary Baker Eddy said that you can never be too humble or too grateful. And that's what I feel like this experience helped me to understand, is those are two things. If you want to be in the ministry and you want to be a part of bringing peace and ministry to people's hearts, you have to know what it's like to love mankind despite what's going on. And it was so interesting because it was just as if where all that fiery sense of anger or disgust or whatever had been so completely quenched, then my heart turned in a totally different direction, and the thought came, what must a man have been through in order to bring himself to spit on another human being? And I found myself just reaching out and putting my arms around him and saying that to him. And I think because for him it had just been an emotional reaction, when I said that to him, it was like you could see it hitting him like a brick in the face what he had done. And he fell to his knees and he began to beg me to forgive him. And I said, well, of course I would forgive you.